Welcome to PMP Procurement Management Knowledge Area. Today, we are going to discuss procurement management in detail. So the agenda today would be understanding what project procurement management is all about. Overview of project procurement management. Processes involved in project procurement management. Firstly, we need to understand that when we say procurement management, every project involves procurement. So when an organization takes up a project, it first decides whether it should really invest in it or not. That is the first decision an organization makes. Once the decision is made, many things are used as part of the project to deliver and create the output or result. Within the project, while creation is happening, deliverables occur throughout the project life cycle. At the same time, organizations also decide which deliverables they will not create themselves but rather procure. For example, certain facilities and resources required for the project may not be managed directly by the organization. Instead, they may choose to procure these from a supplier. A lot of procurements are involved: raw materials, the project environment, or even leasing a workspace or acquiring resources on a time and material basis for a specific duration. Another scenario is when an organization does not execute the project itself but outsources it to experts with specialized knowledge in that area. For example, if a business is in retail and sells products but has no expertise in civil construction, it will need to procure construction services to build its retail store or office. In such cases, the organization hires experts with the necessary experience to complete the project. Procurement happens at various levels, and PMP considers this as a specific focus, which is required and helps the project manager to understand what is involved in procurement management. So procurement management basically focuses on ensuring purchasing and acquiring products or services and the results required from outside the project team. We are not creating this, so we don't create it because we do not want to focus on that area. Let us give it to someone else. Let me say I'm a car manufacturer, an automobile manufacturing company that integrates various different parts of the car and then sells them. I don't manufacture the engine because I do not want to create that facility, that plant for manufacturing. I do not want to invest because I don't have the expertise. Instead, however, an organization with good expertise manufactures that engine, and I integrate it into my car. So I am procuring that engineering. I've given the creation of that engine, producing that engine, to some organization and then procuring it. That is one possibility. So when I say procurement, we may also go for human resources for a temporary period. Human resources, if you think about a civil construction project, a concrete mixer can be outsourced to me and procured on a time and material basis. That is also another possibility: raw material required for my project. I am procuring it. So, it's all about identifying those resources, the products or services for my project. And what is that? I am going to procure it. What is that? I am going to make it myself. One has to decide on that. Once the decision is made, then actual procurement happens. So we will see what exactly PMP speaks about it. Now, project procurement management has various different considerations to make before proceeding with procurement. This includes understanding the trends and emerging practices, advances in various different tools. So which tool should I use as part of this project? Which makes sense to me? Which helps in terms of accomplishing the required results? What are the risks involved? How am I going to manage the risks effectively? What are the methodologies? What are the approaches we have? So when I procure, is there any risk involved? When I do it myself, is there a risk involved? When I compare both risks, which one is better? We need to analyze that. Then, changing contracting. As we know, there is a changing demand in the market. The mindset of consumers is changing rapidly, and the way we contract and establish contracts is also changing so that it accommodates the changing needs of market conditions. Then, logistics and supply chain management, What is available to me? What needs to be established? Then, technology and stakeholder relations. Now, a lot of transactions involve stakeholders. The engagement that has to happen while procuring, because decisions need to be made while procuring, requires stakeholder involvement. Today, we cannot imagine any specific industry, organization, operation, or project happening in the absence of technology. So what would be the right technology appropriate for my project? That needs to be considered, along with the engagements that happen while doing the procurements. We need to have tailoring considerations while documenting, which includes the complexity of requirements, the complexity of procurement, maybe because of technology involved or different geographies, the team size, the kind of project, and the region where I am doing it. It may be the legal requirements of that particular geography, the mandatory things I need to comply with while procuring in that region. Then, physical location, as I mentioned. Then governance and the regulatory environment, which I cannot ignore or avoid considering. I have to consider those, and I should do within it. I should consider, like, tax structure, can ignore it. No registration requirements. I cannot ignore which are the basic requirements to have before I do the procurement. Then, availability of contractors. So in not every region, you will have the resources. In some of the cases, you may require to bring it from a different region. Altogether, maybe from a different state or a different city, or from a different country altogether. So many organizations outsource setup and a bid to set an organization. As I was mentioning about cars, in our EOC outsourcing, that engine manufacturing to some other manufacturing company or in it. Scenario outsourcing, like outsourcing to a different country, so that they will do it for me remotely. They will do the work, like organizations which are in a different country, developing a specific application for me, monitoring an application for me while I produce something here as part of the project. So a lot of such outsourcing would happen because of non-availability. Certain skills capability. Another scenario would be the cost of resources in the local region versus the cost of resources in a different region. It would also become outsourced to different countries. The various different processes involved in procurement management would be planned procurement management, conduct documents, and control procurements, mainly 3 processes. So planned procurement management is the process in the planning process group, whereas conduct procurement is in executing. Process group and control procurement is in monitoring and control. So when I say planned procurement management, this has to help in terms of planning my procurement. I need to make the decisions, mainly to provide the necessary guidelines, set directions to conduct the procurements, and then, based on that, you will control. So you monitor and control the procurements, the way it is conducted in reality versus what is being planned. So moving to planned procurement management, which is a process in the planning process group. So in Rocker Management Knowledge Area, in this process, one will document the project procurement decision, specifying the approach and identifying the potential sellers. So in this process, you need to document various procurement decisions, specifying the procurement approach and the identification of potential and quality sellers. So once this process is executed, predefined points in the project life cycle will be understood, visualized, and that will help in deciding whether this needs to be acquiring goods or services from outside or not. Should it be make or buy? Such decisions have to be made. It should provide the guidelines in case there is a need. It also helps in identifying which resources have to be acquired and when. That clarity should be provided in planned procurement management. Inputs to the planned procurement management process are project charter, business documents, which include the business case and management plan, which are mainly referred to project management plan, which includes scope management plan, quality management plan, resource management plan, scope baseline, which are already consolidated in the project management plan updated. Project documents, which involve milestone list, project team assignments, requirements documentation, requirements traceability matrix, resource requirements, risk register, then EF and OPA. Now, plan. Whatever management tools and techniques used involve expert judgment, data gathering, data analysis, source selection criteria, source selection analysis meetings. Then, the output of this process will be procurement management plan, procurement strategy, bid documents, procurement statement of work, source selection criteria, make or buy decisions. So many get confused when they see make or buy decisions as an output of something. They look at that as an action. But, basically, the decision is, what should I procure? What should I not? Something that I consider in the project, should I buy or make it myself? So these decisions are made, and that comes as an output. Then, independent cost estimates, change request, project document updates, OPA, organizational process assets, updates. The next process is conducted procurement. When we say conduct procurement, it's quite obvious, we need to understand it is an action that is happening in execution. So there is a plan which is set already. So to that plan, they should bend action, which happens. Conduct procurement is the process of obtaining sellers' responses, selecting a seller, and awarding the contract. So this is the process which is in the executing process group. So when we say conduct procurement, the actions required are to identify a specific seller and finalize. Okay. This is the seller, and then establish the contract with that particular seller and then do the procurements. So selection of a seller should happen. Agreements need to be established, which is very essential to do the procurement. So the inputs to this process involve the project management plan, that is, scope management plan, requirements management plan, communication management plan, risk management plan, procurement management plan, configuration management plan, and cost baseline. If you observe very closely, the procurement management plan is an output of a process within the same knowledge area and is one of the inputs to conduct procurement. Then project documents involve lessons learned register, project schedule, requirements documentation, technical requirements relating to the seller, risk register, and stakeholder register. Then procurement documents like bid documents, procurement statement of work, independent cost estimates, and source selection criteria. So these are very essential when you go and identify a seller and discuss, engage, and clarify if at all any doubts that particular seller, probable seller, or bidder would have. Then, further, the inputs list includes seller proposals, which actually come as a response to requests for proposals. Maybe the organization would float an RFP, request for proposal, from sellers who are interested. Received seller proposals come in, then EF plus OPs, enterprise environmental factors and organizational process assets, appropriate for procurement, like local laws and regulations, economic environment, marketplace conditions, information on relevant experience, any agreements which are already in place, and consideration of that contract management system. Then, OPAs, like a list of preferred sellers, organizational policies, organizational templates and guidelines, and financial policies and procedures. So this, as an input, conducts the procurement process using tools and techniques like expert judgment, advertising, which is required to invite a probable seller to respond to the request for proposal, data analysis, and bidder conferences. Bidder conferences are held to clarify any doubts or any clarifications which are there with a specific seller before they submit the response to the RFP. Then, interpersonal and team skills are essential while conducting procurement. So the outputs of this process, conduct procurement, would be selected sellers, identified sellers, and the finalized one. Then agreements are established with those selected sellers. The change request. So, change request may be an output here, not initially when you do the conduct procurement. Later, as the project progresses, maybe some additional deliverables may be required from a specific seller. So we raise a change request. or maybe some clauses have to be changed in the agreement. You will raise a change request. That is possible as this process happens throughout the project life cycle. Maybe a change of acceleration, the partner itself, or the one who is supplying certain things, change of that itself is required. A change request can be raised. Then PMP updates, project document updates, and OPA updates. The next process is control procurement. So control procurement is part of the monitoring and control knowledge area, which is a process meant for ensuring the procured relations are managed as defined. The contract performance, as we defined in the contract, is checked. Then appropriate necessary modifications are made to bring it back to the required one. So this process is performed throughout the project life cycle, and it helps ensure that the performance of both involved parties, that is, buyers and sellers, is up to the requirement as stated in legal arrangements and legal agreements. Inputs to this process involve the project management plan, project documents, agreements, and procurement documents. So now, when I say project management plan, it's quite obvious. I need to see what was actually planned and how it is exactly done. So requirements management plan, risk management plan, change management plan, schedule baseline, and project documents. When I say assumptions logs, lessons learned register, milestone list, quality reports, requirements documentation, requirements traceability matrix, risk and stakeholder register, and agreements which are established between the seller and buyer, and any procurement documents which are decided along with them. Approved change requests, then work performance data, organizational process assets, and enterprise environmental factors. The tools used as part of the control procurement process should be expert judgment, claims administration, data analysis, inspection, and audits. The outputs of this process are closed procurements, work performance information, procurement documentation updates, and change requests. If at all any deviation is identified, then updates to the project management plan, project documents, and OPA, organizational process assets. So this concludes the basic understanding one should have while doing management.